Hello guys. Today we will judge between Palestine and Israel who has the right. Okay, let's go. More than 120 years ago, the countries of the world decided to make a national home for the Jews because they were scattered all over the world, and one of their characteristics was treachery, betrayal, and breach of covenants. They chose a number of countries, including Palestine, and the lottery was drawn on it. The Balfour Declaration of November 2, 1917, was a public statement made by the British government during World War I to declare support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, which was an Ottoman territory with a Jewish minority, about 3 to 5% of the total population. Palestine was under British occupation from 1920 to 1948. The War of 1948. One morning, on May 15, 1948, the Israeli forces entered Palestine by land, sea and air. It was supported by arms from many countries. They killed children, women and the elderly, and no stone or tree was spared from them, and they destroyed more than 530 Palestinian villages. Nearly 13,000 Palestinians were killed, and more than 750,000 were displaced from their homes to become refugees. Yes, it is Israel. The 1948 war was the first war for the Arabs after the birth of the modern Arab state, which the Arabs considered the Nakba, and called it the Nakba War, and they also called it the Palestine War, while the Israelis called it the War of Independence. It erupted after the declaration of the establishment of the State of Israel on the land of Palestine on May 15, 1948, when the forces of 6 Arab countries, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia and Iraq, entered Palestine to prevent the establishment of the Jewish state on the land of Palestine, and military operations continued until January 1949. After it took control. Israel is practically on the parts given to it by the Partition Resolution 194 and more. On that date, the issue of refugees was born with the exodus of more than 400,000 Palestinians from their homes to the West Bank, which was followed in Jordan later, and the Gaza Strip, which was also annexed by Egypt, in addition to neighboring countries and the diaspora, to begin the Arab-Israeli conflict. The Zionist leaders had begun preparing detailed military plans since the beginning of 1945 in anticipation of the upcoming confrontation, and in May 1946 the Haganah drew up a plan called the May 1946 Plan later. The Arab armies when entering Palestine after May 15, 1948 achieved significant victories. The Egyptian forces achieved tangible successes in the southern sector, as well as the Jordanian and Iraqi forces on the Jerusalem front in the northern West Bank. These operations embarrassed the Zionist forces, and their effects were quickly removed by the Security Council's decision on May 22, 1948, to cease fire for a period of 36 hours. The Arab countries rejected that decision at the time. The United States and Britain exercised severe pressures accompanied by threats to the Arab governments. The British delegation to the Security Council submitted a new request to stop the fighting for a period of 4 weeks, and to control the flow of volunteers and arms to Palestine during that period. On June 2, the Arab countries informed the Security Council of their approval of that resolution, and the fighting actually stopped on June 11, and that period was known as the First Armistice. However, the shaky will of the Arab rulers in those days and the lack of coordination between the Arab armies despite their sacrifices, the support and training that the Zionist gangs received at the hands of Britain since the Second World War, in addition to the superiority of the Israelis in number, all this led to the defeat of the Arab armies and the fall of more than 78% of the land of Palestine is in the hands of the Hebrew state, that is, more than the area allocated to it in the partition in 1947, when it gave the Jews 55% of the land of Palestine. Armistice 1949. After the end of the 1948 war, the Rhodes Accords were signed, which imposed an armistice between Israel and Egypt, Syria, Jordan and Lebanon. Each country signed the agreement separately, except for Iraq. Under these agreements, the Green Line, which was officially defined as the ceasefire line, was drawn. But it actually became a border between the modern state of Israel at the time and the neighboring Arab countries. Within the Green Line, that is, in Israel, a number of Arab Palestinian towns and cities and mixed cities inhabited by Jews and Arabs remained. The western part of the city of Jerusalem also remained inside the Green Line, as the Green Line passed through the center of the city. Drawing the Green Line on the ground led to the division of Palestine into 3 parts: Israel, which is the largest part that constitutes 78% of the area of Palestine, the West Bank, which was annexed to Jordan later, and the Gaza Strip, which was annexed by Egypt. The latter two constitute 22% of the area of historical Palestine, which Israel occupied later in 1967. 1967 War. It is a war that occurred in 1967 between Israel and each of Egypt, Syria and Jordan, with logistical assistance from several Arab countries. It ended with the victory of Israel and its seizure of the rest of Palestine, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, in addition to the Egyptian Sinai and the Syrian Golan Heights. Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser temporarily stepped down, and the displacement of more Palestinian people to neighboring countries. The war also inflicted a psychological defeat on the Arab armies after they lost much of their confidence in their military capabilities and combat efficiency, while the morale of the Israeli army rose and its saying, "It is the invincible army." Israel announced the unilateral annexation of East Jerusalem, which had been administratively part of Jordan since 1951. Immediately after the setback, in the Israeli decision issued by the Knesset on June 27, 1967, according to which the government of Israel was authorized to annex the eastern part of Jerusalem, and he made the entire city the unified capital of the Hebrew state, which devoted the continuous Israeli efforts to Judaize it. Israel immediately began to plunder many of the wealth of the West Bank, especially the water, and to carry out, in a systematic manner, the Judaization of East Jerusalem. By seizing West Bank lands, it was able to improve its strategic position and its ability to maneuver military, and remove the danger that could have threatened it from the presence of any organized and armed Arab army in the West Bank, which is the geographical heart of historical Palestine. The war, which was dubbed the setback to escape the description of defeat, has become one of the hallmarks of Arab history. Although 40 years have passed, the event still casts a heavy shadow on the Arabs and the Palestinians in particular, with its story and results, and how to view the future after it. Okay guys, this is the end. Click like and subscribe. Goodbye.